Good morning, Hive fans, and welcome to another video where I help you play Hive like a champion. And today we get a real treat. This is round 5 of the Hive Game Open, the qualifying event for the upcoming World Championship held later on in the summer. Of course, the top 24 players from this tournament will receive invitations to the World Championship. Today we have a great match scheduled between teammates from the Hive Fair Play Cup, and they won the cup twice. And in honor of them, I am wearing this shirt that Tower 50 sent me. The Tamanduas, the South American anteaters. We've got Tower 50. That's Carl versus Loizz. That's Luis. Both from South America. Carl's from Chile. Luis is from Brazil. And we are going to have an exciting game this morning. Tower 50 is in the, keep wanting to say lobby, but he's logged into the home page. We've got quite a few people logged into the home page today. A lot of them are players in the HiveGame.com open, and some of them are new, so we're glad to have them along at HiveGame.com. We're waiting for Loizz to join. So while we're waiting, there's a link down below. You can buy me a coffee. But even better than that, I'm running have a goal today. Carl just stopping by to say hello. Hola, Carl. You're not going to be watching, are you? So we appreciate Carl joining in very briefly this morning before his match. And Loizz has come into the lobby. So we'll be starting here soon, I am sure. Before we get started, though, let's take a quick look at the tournament standings. Here's the tournament standings after four rounds. You get 10 points for a victory, 5 points for a draw, and then that's your match points. Your game points are 1 point for a win, or 2 points for a win, 1 point for a draw. So you can see no one has a perfect score of 40 after 4 rounds. We've got top 7 players all have 36 points, followed by a group of us at 31. I'm down here tied for 15th and 16th. So it's been exciting so far. So we can turn that down, turn that off, and then we will get to watching the game. Want to keep an eye on, make sure we catch them as soon as they get started. Scheduled to start in about a minute. Let's see, this morning, I believe Tower 50 is playing white. My memory serves me correctly. So we won't be able to see Loizz's Pillbug Queen Ant opening, which a lot of us have begun imitating. It seems to be a very good opening. Hasn't been 100% refuted yet, so a lot of us are playing that opening. And I don't know whether it absolutely for certain starts immediately, so I have to keep or refreshes immediately. So I have to keep an eye open for joining. Okay, there we go. And then I will get the review room open and we will be going. Let's turn the desktop audio on. And sure enough, car 50 is playing white. That's what I thought. He opens with a ladybug. It's far and away the most common bug I'll be able to I'll give you some statistics at the end of this tournament. Ladybug, ladybug with the two mosquitoes in line is a very, very common opening. Okay, Carl plays his ant first, and then black queen comes in a buffered queen opening, but white does not elect a buffer. So we have a Z extended queen formation. And notice how the black pillbug comes in, forming this pocket around this pin-proof spawn point, which we'll see if Loizz can use it as a beetle factory. Okay, we've got a little bit of Carl is on his first think and plays the pillbug. So they both have a pen-proof spawn point will be available as soon as the mosquito moves away, which we can pretty much think the mosquito is going to move away, probably pin this ant, oh, no, he did it with the ant instead of the mosquito. Now, if black brings in an ant, or brings in anything actually, it cannot be pinned. White will probably bring in an ant here to give ant power to the mosquito. Although interesting would be what would happen if the what would happen if the white mosquito jumped into there? That could be interesting because white would be threatening to warp the queen or pillbug away from each other. It would free up the mosquito, but it would take away that potential beetle factory. Black would probably either move the queen away, although if he did that, then, so yep, that's, move the pillbug away, that would probably be more likely. But he did not do that. He brought in an ant, which immediately got pinned. I'm becoming a little bit more familiar with the interface here at hivegame.com and how to use the make mainline and promote variation tabs. One thing I forgot to do this morning, which I am going to do, is I'm going to temporarily mute my company phone, and I need to send a text let everybody know I'm out of service on my. Okay, I have muted my company phone and sent a note to all the guys on my personal phone that I'll be out till about 10, although I did put it on the schedule yesterday, but they don't always have a tendency to see that. And I forgot to mention it, it is another beautiful day here in sunny Florida, although we could really use some rain. So I'm probably not going to need this morning, sadly. So Carl's had another little bit of a think. If I had to venture a guess, I would say he's probably thinking about bringing in the third ant. Most likely place to put it would be either one of these spots. Of course, if black brings in the beetle and the mosquito climbs up, the mosquito can advance without being recovered by the mosquito. Okay, we're starting to get viewers now, so make sure you drop me a note, tell me where you're from and who you are, and welcome. We're glad to have you this morning. Of course, the timing is 2020. Public, it's shown right here. Start with 20 minutes, you get 20 seconds added per turn. And if you'll notice that Loizz has been moving fairly quickly, hasn't even gotten below the 20-minute mark. So Tower 50 is on a little bit of a think here. Now with the ant being played, he's got a few more options. If he wants to play aggressively, he could move the mosquito to here, threatening a mosquito pill bug harassment, moving the pill bug away. And then that would give a spawn point for one of his beetles. That would be a very aggressive move by Carl. But I'm going to say he's probably going to bring in his third ant. Although I like the mosquito attack early because that also semi shuts down the beetle factory because the queen could get warped away. But it does give black the opportunity to get it a bit ahead in the ant game. Yep, he brought in the third ant. Now, if black plays an ant, it's going to get pinned. Christian Galeas has joined the stream. Welcome, Christian. And he said, let's go Tamanduas. So Christian, of course, plays under the name Quadlibet, four-time world champion, looking for his fifth world championship this year. Black spider placement does a couple different things. One is it helps anchor down the pill bug, so the pill bug harassment, if the white mosquito should move to here, it doesn't immediately harass the pill bug or queen because both of those are anchored in place. Let's see where it can go. 1, 2, 3. If it is able to move to there, it traps the mosquito. The mosquito can't get out using ant power. It also would shut down that spot as a pin-proof spawn point. And I was just about ready to say that white could, in fact, do an intercept by placing something there, and he did place the grasshopper there. Of course, it does at least temporarily stop the white mosquito from having ant power. White mosquito is still fairly flexible. Now let's look at some options here. Let's see if anybody else has joined in the stream yet this morning. So at some point, black is going to use this as a spawn point. He could pin the grasshopper. At any given time, though, the mosquito can jump out, immediately gaining ant power. This might give white a little bit too much control over the outside of the hive. But he elected to do that anyway. Okay, so the mosquito jumps to here. And don't forget Gen Con 2025 coming up the first weekend in August. Starts on, I think it's July 31st is the Thursday. And we're going to have a series of Hive events. It's Learn to Play Hive Better, 5 events, each of them having a topic, such as surrounding your opponent's queen is not the goal in Hive, that's just how you win. And this is a very good example of that. neither player has begun the attack of the opposing queen. Now, anytime your opponent brings in one of what's commonly referred to as the minor bugs, the grasshopper or spider, you always ask yourself, where is it going? And of course, not only does this help with the anti-spawn defense, but it also is potentially attacking by, or potentially pinning this white ant. Under normal circumstances, the grasshopper would only have two moves, either there or there, but with the pill bug, it actually has two additional spots. But we know it's probably not going there because if you wanted it there, you'd have put it there, saved the tempo. It could jump to there. Let's take a quick look at that. Well, actually, it's white's turn right now, so but white's mosquito move to here shuts down the potential beetle factory. So the white mosquito is probably not going to move from that spot. So let's take a quick look at see what would happen if white did this. It might be just a waiting move, waiting to see what black is going to do. Okay, so let's see what he elected to do. So he brought in the beetle. Now white's threat, of course, would be the beetle climbs up, and that would give beetle power to the mosquito. And white still has control of the exterior of the hive with this free ant. And I forgot to set the time on my YouTube goal, so my goal has just ended. Doesn't mean you still can't do a super chat though. Okay. About to look to see if he could beneficially play the beetle, and he did there. Now, does white pin the beetle, putting black totally on the defensive? Or does white begin the assault with the beetle? So let's take a look. I don't think this would be optimal for white because this would tie up too many white bugs. You would be tying up a beetle and a mosquito just tied up with a black beetle. Let's put in a Fisherman Friends cop drop to see if I could stop that. Now let's look at another option here. What if white pins the beetle? Oh, that's interesting because the pill bug can move the grasshopper to there. Would be an interesting. White would probably, well, yeah, because if he did that, then white could always warp them and then later on move the queen out to there. So time is still on the side of Loizz playing black. He's at 16 minutes and change. Tower 50 is approaching the 6-minute mark. I'm still going to predict that white is going to pin the beetle. Although maybe not, it could, because that threat of the grasshopper jumping in there potentially freeing the ladybug. White could respond to there. A lot of complications this early. So car 50 is approaching the 4-minute mark. Let's see what he decides to do here. It'll be interesting to see if we get 2 games played today or if we only play 1. Okay, he climbs up with the beetle. And of course, by climbing up with the beetle immediately, that somewhat stops this, because what ends up happening is the black ladybug gets pinned rather than the white mosquito. Oh, that's interesting. Black grasshopper jumps over. The white mosquito goes back this direction, which keeps the ladybug pinned, now gives ant power to the mosquito, and now the mosquito is threatening to pin and later cover the black beetle. A bit of a surprise. So does black climb up or shift the pin over? Oh, that's interesting. He broke the ring this way. Okay, just realize. Okay, so it didn't like the fact that you put a link in. Find it on Hive Game by looking at the profile Hive Puzzles White or Hive Puzzles Black. Thank you. Now that is interesting because black beetle moves over, staying in position, in defensive position. Now the black mosquito is free with ant power. So Tower 50 has a plan. So the spider is threatening to cap off the mosquito. Black's second beetle comes into play. And with the ring in place, the white mosquito is mobile. A good use of that ring by white warped out the ant and then moved the pill bug over to reform the ring. Tower 50 played those moves fairly quickly. Both of them played those moves fairly quickly, so must be something that they had already considered looking at. Of course, you never ever want to start the game playing for a draw. That generally ends up in a loss. So, but in a situation like this, when you have a two-game match, if you're playing black in game one, then it may be good enough to get a draw as black because you'll be a favorite to win playing white. And then on the other hand, also if you're playing game two and you previously won game one playing white, then you can be satisfied with the draw playing black. Now I would think that black still has an ant in reserve, but black has to qualify for the win before it can win. And both of these beetles are in defensive position with the two white beetles standing in their way. So these black beetles are probably not going to make it into an attacking position anytime soon. So I would guess that white's best bet would probably be to pin the black mosquito. And then white has plenty of spawn points. Let's see, nope, he didn't. He brought in a grasshopper here. Oh, that's interesting. I have a tendency sometimes to immediately assume that mosquitoes this late in the game have ant power, but in this case, this mosquito doesn't. White looks to be playing for some control here. Although black still has an ant in reserve. Which he brought in right now. And of course, bringing that ant in that spot does a couple different things. One is, of course, it brings the ant in, but it also blocks this ant from escaping. Now, white may be in danger of running out of bugs. Only got the 2 bugs in reserve. Well, that's how he's going to get that 3rd top of hive bug up. Threatening to free another black ant. So what is the white spider looking to do? Probably looking to pin this ant here. Of course, that frees the white ant, but it also stops the white ant from pinning the black mosquito. Of course, if the white ant moves, then at least temporarily the white mosquito is pinned. Yeah, the grasshopper jumps in there. That's kind of what we thought was going to happen, which that's why the grasshopper came in. Again, grasshopper's placed. Where's it going? And just like that, black has taken over control of the outside of the hive. I couldn't remember Rot Flameop, but I got to remember that he's hive spider. Oh, that's interesting. The mosquito has been working very hard to climb atop the hive and I think just made it. But now white is going to be in some potential time trouble here with only 2 minutes to go. Oh, that's interesting. Rather than climb atop the hive, went with the let's get some ant movement. Which the black mosquito backtracks back to defending the queen, but in the process gets beetle power to climb up. So one of two things is going to happen. Either this is going to end up in a fairly quick draw, or we're going to end up in a long end game. And of course, with 12-minute difference in time, black has good chances in the end game. Going to trade a grasshopper for an ant. Now, is black concerned about that ant getting free? I would think probably not. Because white just doesn't have the bugs in order to win. I mean, if with the two beetles defending against the two white beetles, unless white can force some sort of a bug swang, those beetles are not going to pass those black beetles. Yep, I don't see it. With it approaching a minute, 1 minute mark, Hour 50 is going to have to start playing very quickly. Sometimes you ask yourself, why did a player do that? Well, as it was, the mosquito did not have ant power. So by sliding over, the ant gives the mosquito ant power. But that's interesting because now the last bug comes in. Playing very quickly here. Now let's take a look at some options here. Be very, very hard to put black in bug swing because of the two beetles and the mosquito. But that's exactly what I was thinking was, although I think I would have done it with the ant. Oh, that's interesting. So yeah, I was thinking that the ant would go there, but this way, this black ant is now trapped into this big cavern where the white ant can get warped out by the pill bug, but not now. Let's see what. I guess white did not want to risk. So, well, let's see. Does white have a plan? I don't see there's any possible way. Yep, I still don't see. Well, let's see. That's interesting. White must have some sort of a plan. Question is, what is it? Black is neither in time trouble nor in bug swing trouble. He's got queen he can wobble with. The ant and the mosquito just can move back and forth. Okay, looks like we might be headed to a draw. Yep, this one's headed toward a draw. So Loizz was able to pull out a draw playing black. Good game this morning, guys. We appreciate it. Question is, are they going to play a second game now? Or are they going to play a second game later? So let's turn off. Let's go back to here. Back to home. So let's see if they make a note over on. Okay, I'm going to have to see what I can do here to get another, just in case they're going to play. Okay, I made myself a little cheat sheet so I can get a review room open again, which we're able to do. So let's see if we're going to be playing again. I guess what we could do is go to finished games and see if there's any comments. They're making any comments there. Oh, doesn't look like it. Okay, it looks like Loizz has left the room. They're probably planning on playing a second game at a different time. So let's go over and take a quick look. Okay, we haven't seen a note yet. Loizz has left the website, so I'm assuming that they are not playing a game 2 today. So that's going to put an end to our stream for today. Let's just go back and take another look. Oh, here we go. There is a note. Game to look like Monday. Thanks, Carl, for letting us know. So let's go take a quick look at the tournament results. Tournament standings. Make sure that is showing up here. It is good. So at the top of the leaderboard, Bangusta, Antoine LR, Mirmegi, that's my teammate and the Humble Hive Boys. George Parnassus from Greece. Loizz, Dr. B's, Quadlibet, Frasco, all at 36 points. Then we go down to Ordep Kubek, Ant-Man Kess, Cower 50, Max Shark, Gongler, Rick Dog, Terekanishchi, me, Ringersall, Free Nasty, and Roxar, all at 31 points. So we go to the top 24. We go all the way down to 26 points and higher. We get you into at least the tie breaks for the top 24. And interestingly, right now, Niles and I Am a Shark would be tied for the 24th, 25th position. So it'll be interesting. Hopefully, we don't need tie breaks to determine who makes it to the World Championship and who doesn't. Although the committee has had a discussion about that and determined that players that finish in the 20s, 23, 24, 25, 26, if it's a tie, they probably aren't going to have much of a chance of proceeding out of the round robin group phase of the tournament. So we're not that concerned about tie breaks in this situation. So that's how the tournament results look. And thank you again for joining today. And I don't know what I'm going to be streaming next week because my family is moving. We're just moving right down there, 5 or 6 houses down. We bought a house, so it's right in the same neighborhood. But next week's going to be very busy for us. In fact, next Wednesday, a week from today, the moving company's coming, carry all our furniture away. So after that, you'll see same setup, different room. So thank you again for joining today. We appreciate everybody coming in. Thanks, Hive Spider, for joining. Until next time, this is Randy Ingersoll. I am here helping you play Hive like a champion. Until next time, this is Randy signing off.